Hi, welcome back to Astrology Throwdown. It just turned off. It's always really cool when that kind of stuff happens. Let's see if it keeps up. Anyway, so I was talking about how Cohen got, Elvis Costello Cohen, got charge of me somehow. And now I'm trying to figure out what happened, where this came from. What does he know? That's what I really want to know because um, I'm just mystified continually about this. Can't believe it. But it's happening, and every night I show the similarities in Cohen's personality with Napoleon, and I'm astonished about it. It's incredible. Now I want to like read everything about Napoleon again, and then see how it lines up with him, Cohen, because reading the love letters while I'm listening to all of these songs by Cohen, it's so incredible to see how similar they are. And so while I'm fascinated and thrilled, and I I never stopped being a huge fan. I never. I couldn't deal with it. It's, I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. And now looking back, I know why I couldn't deal with it because I it's to to have that kind of feeling for somebody that you can never talk to is a nightmare. That's what it really is. And I'm still in that situation. I just thank goodness I can at least talk to him telepathically, and I'm so grateful about that. And I'm so fascinated and so interested, and I want to know. I want to know more. That's his forte, getting you intrigued, and he is so intriguing. So I really want to show people that it is the same person, and that we should support him, and that there's hope. There's something spiritual going on. Um, the world is ruled by I can't even call them what I want to call them. The word I want to use is demons. Um, I think they're possessed, and I think that they have demons, and I'm all too familiar with demons, unfortunately, and I know what they're like and how they behave. And I think I come from. Oh, I hate to talk about my family too much because I don't. They don't probably agree with me, but I think I come from witchcraft on both sides. That's my opinion. I do. I know I do on my father's side, and I can see it all over my mother's side. So that might be why I'm so good at being a channel and all this stuff. I might be like from a witch family, and it's so weird. But I didn't grow up like that at all. Uh, we were like lapsed Catholics, and I was mostly with my Portuguese grandparents, who were just regular, like hardworking Portuguese people. And and then later in life, I could speak Portuguese, and I knew my grandfather wasn't going to live very much longer. So I um I asked him about all his stories. I wanted to hear everything he had to tell me. This is so emotional. Anyway, so he told me about how our family came to the United States, and that was a really great thing for us. I'm not going to go into the circumstances that created that, which I think were to undermine the United States. That's what I think is so funny, that my family probably came to the United States to like undermine the integrity of the nation because we're like dirty, dirty people or something. This is Jacob Javits that wanted to flood the United States with immigrants, and then Newark turned into a war zone, and that's where my uncles and aunts lived. They lived in the war zone that was created in Newark, and then my family got out and went to Long Island, and that's what happened. So how does this go back to me being from witches? So my grandfather told me that story, and it's amazing. These were my first books. They were all based on the stories my grandfather told me. And my grandfather's brother, I can't believe I'm going into all this, but why not? My grandfather's brother was this incredible person who went from being so poor that he was a child laborer collecting mud for bricks. He was a child laborer. My grandfather and they were so poor, And Portugal, who's been running Portugal for 1,000 years. So these things they're all on purpose. Portugal's a rich country. It should never be that poor. But they were that poor. And my grandfather's brother went from that to becoming the chief of police of Coimbra, which is one of the oldest towns in Portugal. And Portugal is such an old country with a very rich heritage. How does somebody go from being a child laborer to the chief of police of Coimbra? How? And the other part of our family did not go that high. So I wanted to hear that story. And I knew that Portugal had been under a really terrible dictatorship. Oh, how do these countries all get these dictators? Where do they all come from? They're puppets. So Portugal had their puppet dictator, just like the other countries did in World War II. And then my grandfather's brother moved up through the military, and so he was a huge fascist. My grandfather's brother. But we live under fascism. So that was my story of how my grandfather's brother became this huge fascist. He was a good person. He did what he could for us. But we all live under fascism. It doesn't make any difference what the government is. We all completely live under fascism, except they're calling it freedom because they're liars. Anyway, so my grandfather's sister was a huge witch. That's where I'm going with it. So it was a very Catholic regime. It was very repressive, obviously. And then his sister was a witch. So what a family, I come from. And I think she put us in contracts and somewhere down the line. And I think I started life with a lot of problems spiritually, probably from her. Who knows how far back that goes. So anyway, it's a little background about my background and why I come from really negative patterns, and now I'm doing astrology. So, but hopefully I'll be good. I'll be good at whatever it is that I do. I don't think she was good. My grandfather's sister. No one really says anything that nice about her. They say a lot more nice things about the one who became the chief of police. Anyway, I would love to have known him. I feel him. His name is Virgilio. I do feel him. I never met him though. But Virgilio was I can tell I take after him because he was from another planet. I'm kind of like the Marilyn Munster. Like I don't fit in at all. They're all like each other, and I'm like, nobody knows where I came from. Anyway, so today, to change the subject, we threw some stones, and it was so interesting, and it all played out live on Hamptons.com, so we could see the package out there, and then how people reacted to it. And one of my favorite things about the project is how everyone has a completely different reaction to it. So basically, I'm doing something weird, and they're like, they don't know what to do. They don't know. It puts them in a weird situation too. So people saw it. They saw the package. If you read the blog, you know what the package looks like. It's a beautiful tinfoil rainbow. It's really elaborate. And there's a really cool envelope with it with my logo on it. So today, all these people just like walked by, or they read the card, or they left it. We never had that before. So all these people looked at it and left it. And then finally some girls came by, and they're like, "Oh, we'll take this." And I always wonder if they like argue about it. Like, I saw it first. Like, who gets it if it's two girls, you know? I hope it didn't cause any problems. Hopefully. But anyway, so we're gonna put the video up if you want to watch. I think it's really interesting how everyone reacts differently. And I have said this before on the stream. When I used to put the paintings out in the street, some couldn't see it, some loved it, some ran out and took it and then wanted to take all of them, and then some people would never take it. I love that. And then I feel like it says something about them. Some people, I would be like, I want to give it to you, take it. They're like, oh, no, 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 don't give it to me. Like, I want you to have it. No, 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 give it to someone else. Like, what does that say about them? A lot. It actually says a lot. If they're like, no, 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 don't give it to me. Give it to anybody. Anyway, so there is a psychological aspect to this. And I wanted to talk about that sort of thing involving astrology because I'm in this situation where I'm realizing that my twin flame Napoleon is this incredible person who's hugely famous and stuck. So it's so mystifying. It like forces me to care about the world, which I don't want to do at all. I don't not happy with this the way it is. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to change it, but I also don't know how to accept it. I know Buddhism's like, oh, accept everything. Everything's wonderful. I can't accept this. I'm permanently under quarantine as a healthy person, and I have been unhealthy my entire adult life. So now that I'm healthy, and because I've been doing the right thing and I have been reporting the news and I have been standing up for the truth and I have been proving that every single thing that I'm saying is irrefutably the truth. It's not a question of what's true. It's a question of who has the money and who can push their rules through. And I'm glad it's not a question of who's telling the truth. They're lying and I'm telling the truth and they are permanently quarantining me to retaliate against me, and they've blacklisted me. So this is my situation. And then yesterday I was showing how I have themes of traps and blocks in my chart, but it's like ridiculous how much. So I have yod pointing to blocks in media in my homeland. I have a bowl funnel formation boomerang, whatever. It's a bowl funnel. I said it wrong. It's a bowl or a funnel formation in my chart. And that's pointing to Saturn in the third house in Cancer. So, once again, showing that my life is about themes of being thwarted and blocked and having discipline and working really hard, but also feeling like I'm not doing enough or uh, not feeling very secure about anything. So, I have to deal with like really heavy energy with that Saturn situation. And I wanted to talk about another very heavy situation that I have in my chart. Um, and I was mentioning that my health has been really horrible my entire adult life. And all of this shows up in my chart. So basically, when I turned 18, I started to develop seasonal allergies, and they were so bad that I get sinus infections. And and then I would take medication for it, and I would just get worse, and everything just got worse and worse and worse. So the more sick I was, the more things I tried to take to get better, the worse I got. And I think a lot of it really it came from me not understanding my energies. So if I understood astrology better, I probably could have dealt with it better, and I would have known to stay away from the pharmacy because the pharmacy is not there's some good things in there, I'm sure. But once you get into that medication thing, it's very hard to get your health back. So that's the experience that I had. And I tried everything. Like I went through sinus surgery. I tried the injections that you get to deal with allergies. I tried every kind of allergy medicine, everything. So it was just not possible for me to not have a sinus infection. So every single thing that I've done, and I have done a lot. I did with a sinus infection. So I was in a lot of pain. So that was really holding me back. So that's kind of a Saturn theme where I'm like always sick. I always can't get ahead. And then I have all these blocks and I can't have a career and I can't make a living and I can't anything. Like everywhere I turn, I'm blocked. So I really have felt this blocked energy intensely. I'm not in the group that gets things. I'm not in the group that gets to do whatever I want. I'm not in the group that gets to just get my way all the time. I'm in the group that gets blocked all the time. So I'm here to deal with this. Like this is my purpose. So I did want to talk about what's going on right now astrologically for everybody before I get into my own chart. We have everything for transforming our thinking and expanding spiritually and regime change. And Mercury retrograde is aligning with the sun. So this is a good time to really look back and think about what's been going on with media and for us to become very proactive because um, we shouldn't be tolerating lies. I know everybody wants their paycheck and everybody wants to be just go along, but we have to really be calling out lies, even if you have to use aliases or whatever. These lies have to really be called out because the people who lie to us all the time, um, they tend to be extremely conceited people. I am generalizing, but they're incredibly conceited. You think it's kind of a conceited thing to just lie to everybody and think they'll believe you? It's kind of a conceited thing to do. So when these people who lie all the time are called liars, it doesn't really go with their fantasies about themselves, about what great people they are, because they're always telling you how wonderful they are. They're huge hypocrites. So we need to really call them out day and night and really basically humiliate them for what they have become. We have to do every single thing within our capacity to stop these lies. And Van Morrison just came out with a wonderful new album, and I hope it does very well. And it's very, very, very consistent with the astrology right now about changing thinking. And we do have the power to change. We must change. They won't change. They are stuck in this. They're in some kind of mass delusion because they must think what they're doing is okay. They must. I have dealt with these people repeatedly. They're the most conceited people you can possibly imagine. And there's still just people, there's still just people. They want love. They want to be happy. Uh, it, they're from a cult, but it's not acceptable what they're doing. And they have to stop. And they're never going to stop on their own because they're so brainwashed into thinking what they're doing is somehow okay. You're dealing with a very serious mind control cult. They might control their own the most. And the mind control that we get is just the overflow. Everything is being run through mind control. So the very people and all these stories that they put out in the media, this is all just tricks from a cult. And I just want people to get there. Like this is a very malignant satanic cult. They hate when you call them Satanists. Oh my goodness, their heads will spin if you call them Satanists. But it is a satanic cult essentially. It's a cult that just loves evil, and evil's good. Evil's the good one. Oh, the evil's wonderful. That's their religion. The baddie's good religion. Obviously. Obviously. So this is a great time for us to change. I guess they can't change because they've been so brainwashed, and bless them, forgive them, whatever, but we have to get away from them. Absolutely. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because we have the astrology for this. We can change right now. We can grow spiritually. We can start our missions. We can fulfill our missions. Whatever happens here, I'm going to fulfill my mission. I have to. And I hope that things will work out because I'm not just enslaved by my enemies. I'm enslaved by my own mission. I'm really I'm really stuck. That's the energy of my whole chart. I'm trying to show that. Anyway, so it's the perfect time to change and to grow spiritually and to say, no, you can't lie to me. I'm not stupid. Wherever you guys, wherever they send you out from, go back to that place. And I know exactly where they send them out from. Boy, have they taught me everything about them. They can't handle me. What I'm doing is not something they can allow to happen. So watch me. Watch me carefully because they are. So whatever I do, they're damage controlling it, dealing with it, suppressing it, hiding it, and all that stuff. And what is hiding? Hiding is Pluto. Okay? So once again, we're back to astrology. And I want to show people that I want people to understand why I do what I do, and I'm really not trying to be destructive. I'm trying to make the best of a difficult situation that I'm in personally, and I do suspect part of what they're doing does have to do with them retaliating against me. I know they had big plans to launch a virus and they had big plans to do this and that and the other. And I could clearly see that they were working on World War III, and that was a really big priority for them. Look, it's the CIA, all these spy agencies. They're the ones, and it's Habad. Yeah, that's right. It is Habad. It's Mossad. I can't believe it. What am I doing? I can't believe I just said all that stuff. It's the most obvious stuff in the world. This is out of control. You guys, you guys have to stop. Who am I to say that to you guys? I know you've all that banking behind you. I understand. Now I'm talking to them. I am talking. Anyway, so we're all doing our best, even them, I guess. I don't know. I'm not even going to give them that credit. But I look, Victor Strasky, I love Victor Strasky, and he was tricked and he was led to believe that there was something good there. And then he got there and he found out that it was a bunch of organized crime. Okay. And everything that they did, and by way of deception, I was like, oh, familiar. They did that to me too. Oh, as well. And I knew it was going to be like that. I know exactly where it's coming from. So I could probably go find a CIA book and be like, boop, 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 there it is again. It's a pattern. It doesn't matter what they call it. It's the bankers' foot soldiers. Yeah. Anyway, look, we have to move on. I know you guys want to kill me and stuff, but we have to all move on. Anyway, so even you guys like astrology. So you could realize I'm doing my best. I guess you guys are doing your best. So I have Pluto. This is what I'm trying to get to. Keep getting sidetracked. So I have Pluto in the 6th house. What does that mean? Pluto rules Scorpio. And I've been talking on my stream about how I have Scorpio in my 7th house. So my enemy is a Scorpio, my partner is a Scorpio because my sun is there. I'm a Scorpio. So what rules Scorpio? Pluto. So the most important thing about my Scorpio part of my life, now it involves a partner and it involves media and communication thinking because Mercury is there, and it involves the sun, my very essence, the focus of my whole life. And then Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. And where is Pluto in my chart? That's going to color the kind of Scorpio that we're talking about. And my Pluto is in my 6th house. What is the 6th house? The 6th house is health and service. And I'm telling you about my health and I'm telling you about my service because I am serving the world in a very ethereal, spiritual way. I'm revealing secrets. That's Pluto. And I'm also trying to heal myself, and that can also be Pluto. I really want you to see that my project is in the chart. And how did I get my health back after all of these years? And I assure you, I tried every single solution uh, in existence. I tried every single thing except astrology, and it was astrology that fixed it. So I can't. I mean, can't imagine how much pain I've been through because of these infections. So astrology taught me. So how did astrology teach me to understand my problems so I could get past it? It's incredible. This, and I know so many people suffer with these awful infections. They're terrible. So my health of, I said that wrong. My house of health has two planets in it, Uranus and Pluto. Can you imagine? Your house of health, Uranus is like shocking disruptions and revolutions and populism. And then Pluto is like death, rebirth, um, uh, uh, passion, intensity. It's not that good for your health. These things, death, death is there. So I I started to understand that my problem probably had something to do with this. And then if you look at those planets, I put the chart in my on my blog in the astrology report so you can follow along. I know these things are a little hard to follow, but why not? So that Uranus in the sixth house is not only not in a great spot. That means I'm a very disruptive servant, basically, because that's a house of service. And my health is very disturbed and disturbing and everything. And that's a place of others also. So the other people in my life are all like weird and disturbing. So it's a tough placement, but it's also extremely afflicted. Extremely. Okay, so it's in an opposition with Mars retrograde, which is kind of like a traumatized Mars in an intercepted Aries, like trapped. Two cusps are in the 12th house, and it's in the 12th, which is the place of just blocked things that you can't remember that influence you, but you don't even know why. It's like my chart's a joke practically. I'm sure there's worse ones, but mine is so afflicted. Um, so Uranus is in an opposition. Both are in intercepted house. They're both just blocked every way they can be blocked. And then they're both square Jupiter in my house of career in Aquarius. So amplified, but good. And maybe there's some luck to it. Hopefully, but these are difficult aspects. It's gonna hurt. Okay, so that's what I have going on emotionally. Okay, that's nervous breakdown right there. Look at that. Uranus, opposite Mars retrograde, both in intercepted houses. In intercepted Aries is where Mars retrograde is, and then Uranus is in a intercepted Libra. So that's really disturbing, difficult relations, and it's blocked in my house of health and service. So how can I serve? I've got such disturbance in my relationships and things are so blocked. And then what else do I have in my sixth house? I have Pluto. Oh, and that's even worse afflicted. Way worse. So Pluto, now here's my other afflicted planet in Pluto. It's opposite moon. Okay, so just so painful emotionally. And then square Venus. So painful relationships. And then square Saturn retrograde, which is totally blocked and restricted. Okay, so what does that mean? So I kept looking at this situation. Oh, okay, so I have some kind of health affliction and I have all this blocked energy. So how do I find that blocked energy? Where is it? Is this like a map of the energy that's inside me? And I just thought about it, thought about it. So Aries, and now this is like more medical astrology. Not that I am a novice, but I have Mars retrograde on my ascendant in an intercepted Aries in the 12th house. Okay. So very, very, very blocked and traumatized and trapped and isolated Mars on my ascendant. Everybody can see it. So I must seem like I can't even imagine. But powerful, but really pent up and powerful because I'm so blocked in. I'm so trapped. I'm like a wild animal in a cage, pretty much. So that Aries is the head. And okay. So I'm thinking, oh, so I have this pent up fire in my head. I sinus infections. And it's in this like area of water, the sinuses. I really could see it. That my ascendant is showing this sinus infection. I'm having like thunderbolt explosions of Mars amplified in my Aries, which is my head. And it can't get out. And then I'm so emotionally distraught from that Uranus in the moon. I mean, it's everything is just for emotional trauma in my chart. So I'm like so disturbed and so distressed, and I'm so upset about something. And then I have all this fire in my sinuses. That's water, the 12th house. So then I had to think about it. Well, how do I have to release it. I have these difficult aspects. Now, if I could just breathe like a normal person, I wouldn't have learned any of this. That's the whole amazing thing about having such a difficult chart. Look at all the things I had to go through to find out that there's a superabundance of Uranus, Mars going on in my sinuses. Okay, so how did I get it out? So sometimes I have to like put water on it because I was thinking, well, it's fire. Water puts out fire very easily. So I do a lot of things like that. I put a lot of water on it. Because it's really, it could be something so simple like that. Because it's just that you don't understand your energies and how they're affecting you. So I'm so upset. And then I have this fire in my sinuses. And then that created a sinus infection. So by just understanding the energies, okay, fine. That's the whole point I wanted to make. And I hope I made it. And my point is that everything is like this. You know, our whole world is just like what I'm describing. It's a simple thing. It's just blocked energy. It's nothing to worry about that much. But if you don't understand it, it destroys your life and it never ends. And you're just always sick and miserable. I mean, having sinus infections all the time destroys your life completely. And now we're having our lives destroyed completely for no reason because this one group wants all of the control and all the power and every single thing for them and nothing for us. And well, if they want to lie, too bad. If, everything that they want to do is their right because they control money and they control us because they control money. These are all really energetic problems. Okay, you could get personal. I could talk about these agents who have been harassing me, intimidating me, just trying to trick me. It's an energetic problem, basically. Okay, so there's this one group which is like, um, they're selfish. I can't say they're not selfish. And they're so selfish. They're so abnormally selfish. It's incredible that they have evolved along these lines into a whole other type of person that thinks it's okay to just lie and steal and kill. And they're really they are really an energy that needs to be dealt with because it's killing the rest of us. It's suffocating the rest of us. And I'm trying to show you through discussing my chart that I really am here to deal with this. And you are too. And it is imperative that we all become very much the leaders of our own lives. I'm seeing things that are very obvious, okay? And I did listen to Van Morrison's new album today. It is terrific. I really hope people will heed the message of his new album because he is absolutely correct. We're being lied to. Of course, we're being lied to. And then all these people are going along with it. Why? Everybody's got their own reasons, okay? So hopefully we'll all do our part and we'll move beyond this because the level of trap that I'm in, permanently quarantined as a healthy person, think of that in terms of energy. See, so there's this energy that is um, so evil that they would do that to me. What am I supposed to do about that? Should I just wait for them to kill everybody? I can't do cinnamon. I can't do that. And we're all in the same exact situation. This is our lives, our souls, our world. One little group shouldn't be so influential. That's the problem. Because it's really just a little group. And they are very, 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 very fringe. We're talking people who are full on, full on. They should not be running everything. No, they should not be running. They are the ones who should. There's an energetic problem. This energy is being way too amplified by that money system. When the money system changes, they can go back to being a little satanic cult. And I hope we'll find a way to protect children from them. See what I'm saying? It's a little satanic cult that has way too much power because of banking. And energetically, we're going to have to do our job. And we're going to have to not have them run everything. I mean, at this point, so obvious. I don't know how anybody's still going along with the BS anymore. All right. So we're done with the letters to Ortas. I'll just change it. Why not? Hope that wasn't too sudden a change. That's my Uranus situation in my house of service. You see, I can be very Uranus in my service. So I'm weird, really weird. And that's that type of energy. So we're done with the letters to Ortas. And I thought it was so interesting that he changed to her brother at the end. I want to know what that meant. I definitely think he wanted her to follow him. And I think he was being a little submissive with her. That's what I actually think. I think he was saying, if I was too bossy with you, I'll be less bossy with you. Please follow me. I think he was saying that, but he couldn't say it. See how hard it is for us to communicate? This is terrible. This has to change. And I hope I can get people on our side and feeling for our situation because it's not right for one banker to decide who gets to see who and for twin flames to be tortured like this. And of course he doesn't want us together. Of course he doesn't want us together. But he doesn't get to decide who gets to be together. See how that works? Why does he have so much say over everybody's life and nobody even ever heard of him? How does that work? Nobody's even heard of him, us little people. It's ridiculous. He shouldn't have all the say in the world and everybody has to be a prisoner. Unbelievable. It's one person and he's very old and his friends are very old too. These are not formidable people, except that they know how to pick up a phone. And then we can find out who picks up that phone. Okay? This little group is way too much power, and someone needs to deal with it. And it is an energetic problem, and the energy needs to be spent the right way. We should not be fighting each other. We should be fending off this tiny little cult, and it is a mind control cult. You cannot talk to them. They don't, you can't reach them. They're they're so stuck in whatever thing they want. They're so they chase carrots, and then they give us carrots to chase, but they're chasing carrots too. See, they fall for the tricks they do. That's what's so funny about them. And they're so conceited that they can't see it, that they're being fooled. Because it's a cult. It's a real mind control cult. It's all coming from them, that banking cult. Okay, so here's a letter from Napoleon to Josephine, and you'll see how much it sounds like a typical Cohen song. My life is a perpetual nightmare. A fatal presentiment prevents my breathing. I no longer live. I've lost more than life, more than happiness, more than repose. I am almost without hope. I am hurrying a messenger to you. He will remain in Paris not more than 4 hours and will then bring back your answer. Write me 10 pages. That alone can console me a little. You are ill. You love me. I have grieved you. You are big with child, and I may not see you. That idea confounds me. I am guilty of so many wrongs to you. I do not know how they are to be expiated. I blamed you for staying at Paris. You are ill. Forgive me, my dear sweetheart. The love you have inspired in me has deprived me of reason. I shall never recover it. There's no cure for that evil. My presentiments are so sinister that I should limit myself to seeing you, to pressing you to my breast for 2 hours, and to dying with you. Who is looking after you? I imagine that you have called in Hortense. I love that amiable child 1,000 times the more for thinking that she can comfort you a little. As for me, no consolation, no repose, no hope till my courier is back. The long letter in which you explain the nature of your illness and to what degree it may be. If it is dangerous, I warn you that I leave at once for Paris. My arrival will vanquish the malady. I have always been fortunate. Never has my fate held out against my will, and today I'm hit hard with respect to what concerns me uniquely. Josephine, how can you go so long without writing me? Your last letter is of the 3rd of the month. Although it causes me pain, nevertheless, I keep it always in my pocket. Your portrait and your letters are always before my eyes. I can do nothing without you. I can hardly imagine how I ever existed without knowing you. Ah, Josephine, if you had known my heart, would you have let all that time go by? From the 29th to the 16th? Without making a start? Could you have lent your ear to perfidious friends who might wish to keep you away from me? I suspect everyone. I abhor all the people around you. I had calculated on your having left before and on your having been in Milan since the 15th. Josephine, if you love me, if you recognize that everything depends on your keeping safe and sound, take good care of yourself. I do not venture to tell you not to undertake so long a journey in the warm weather. At any rate, if you are in condition to travel, go by easy stages. Write to me always before going to bed and dispatch your letters in advance. All my thoughts are concentrated on your alcove, on your bed, on your heart, your illness. That is what fills my thoughts night and day, without appetite, without sleep, without interest in friendship, in glory, in country. You, the rest of the world exists for me no more than if it had been wiped out. I hold to honor, since you hold to it, to victory, since it pleases you. Otherwise, I should have left everything to throw myself at your feet. Sometimes I say to myself, I am alarmed without reason. Already she is recovered. She is leaving. She is left. She is perhaps already at Leon. Vain imagination. You are in bed, suffering, more beautiful, more interesting, more adorable than ever. You are pale. Your eyes are languishing. But when you are recovered, if one of us should fall ill, should it not be I, stronger and more courageous? I could have supported illness more easily. Fate is cruel. It strikes me in your person. What consoles me sometimes is the thought that fate may make you ill, but no one can oblige me to survive you. In your letter, my dear love, be careful to tell me that you are convinced that I love you beyond what it is possible to imagine, that you are persuaded that every instant of my time is consecrated to you, that never an hour passes without my thinking of you, that never has it occurred to me to think of any other woman, that they are all in my eyes without grace or beauty or wit, that you are altogether such as I see you, that you are able to please me and to absorb all the faculties of my soul, that you have affected my entire being, that there's not a nook or corner of my heart into which you may not look, not a thought of mine, which is not subordinated to you, that my strength, my arms, my spirit are all yours, that my soul is in your body, and that the day when you should be changed or when you should cease to live would be the day of my death, that nature, the earth, is beautiful to my eyes only because you dwell there. If you do not believe all that, if your soul is not convinced, penetrated with its truth, you cause me pain. You do not love me. There is a magnetic fluid between persons who love each other. You know well that I never could endure that you should have a lover. Still less offer you one. For me to see him and to tear out his heart would be one and the same thing. And then, if I could lay my hand upon your sacred person, no, I would never dare to do it. But I would do away with myself when she who had stood to me for all that was virtue had so deceived me. But I am confident and proud of your love. Our misfortunes are ordeals which mutually prove the strength of our passion. A child adorable as its mamma is going to see the light of day and will pass several years in your arms. Unhappy me! A single day would make me happy. 1,000 kisses on your eyes, on your lips, your tongue. Adorable woman, what is the secret of your power over me? I am indeed ill of your illness. I now have a burning fever. Do not keep less Sampla above 6 hours. Let him return at once, bringing the darling letter of my sovereign. Do you remember that dream in which I removed your shoes, your dress, and made you, all of you, enter my heart? Why hasn't nature arranged everything like that? There are many things that could be improved. Twin flame. Whole point. Okay? Whole point. But it's not her. But he wants his twin flame. Okay? So we will see if that banker can stop us. That is what this is about. This banker who is trying to destroy our lives in every way possible, because that's what he does. He likes to control everything, especially talented people. So it's up to everybody what happens, as we all know. Okay, so yesterday we were hearing about Cohen's life. And I'm sure this is going to be interesting coming up. So he was multiple girls around him. And he says, oh, here's a little poetry about it. Okay. Chapeltown, 2 a.m. No one is praying. Someone is praying. Saltfish and dumplings are pushed through a grill bolted on the cafe counter, along with a chipped mug of strong tea swill. Legs, mottled in blue from the cold, swish into the meager shelter. Those tired pins look like something already dead or dying above a wrinkle of cheap pointed leather. The two girls enter in a hail of curses. Their skin is coarse and pancaked when stripped of shadows by the buzzing neon. One of them heaves her bosom, barely zipped into a fake fur-trimmed garment that would do well to cheat the wind over the counter. The other unpops the studs of white nylon fabric gathered above a tiny stretched pelmet of skirt. Hard eyes calculate the time off the beat. No endearments are exchanged. If money is passed between them, it is not apparent to the eyes of interlopers. Who among these sallow, hollow men hugging the edges of the room would dare trade with that hand with its gashed knuckle or approach any of his charges? Did he pass furtively along the edge of their world, sniffing the scent, seething and plotting to sharpen and strike? Josie has a husband up in the town jail. He'd never laid a glove upon her, but the violence that accompanied the robbery had put him away for several years. She had grown tired of waiting and now sat to the left of Percy Inch, along with her chaperone, a disappointed and angry girl who Inch is determined to lose. The spark that remained in her charge had been utterly extinguished in Jane. They were neither plain nor pretty. The difference between them was Josie still imagined something better. Inch believed her compliant, leaned hard into the babble of Inch's tired war stories. Josie occasionally recognized names that tumbled out in a tangle of private jokes and leaden ironies. They didn't impress her much. He had obviously seen too much too quickly and now seemed intent to recite it all in order to blunder his way back home. The voice in her head is screaming, "Why don't you take me somewhere soft and warm? Give me something to remember." But her glazed expression remains fixed on his monologue. Sometime around 3 a.m., fatigue outruns disapproval, and the chaperone leaves Josie to her fate. Inch and the girl quit pretending that there is anything to detain them further in this waiting room filled with pox and hacking coughs. They repair to a hotel that rejoices in the name the Bland Arms. Once within, the visitor was welcomed along a purple corridor decorated with a repeated motif, the silhouette of an unclothed dancing woman enticing the residents to bed with outstretched limbs. Oh, heaven preserve us, because they don't deserve. Anyway, let's just leave it there. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it. Good evening.